under Janet Yellen, just continuing Ben Bernanke, I call her the Empress of Doves, that they would like to see an inflation rate of somewhere around 3 to 5%, like guys like Paul Krugman have been advocating for years. Now, they're poured a lot of money in. So far, it hasn't happened. But I think that's the Fed policy.
Well, that is the policy. And you can imagine how bad inflation would actually be if the official numbers were 4 or 5%, because I think it's already higher than that. And the main reason that it's not even higher is because we've been able to export that inflation abroad. But you go back to this Fed statement. The Fed doesn't mention taper. It says adjust monetary policy. Adjustment doesn't imply a direction. I think what the Fed is getting ready to do is increase the amount of QE, not diminish it.
See, Andy Bush, the consumer price index actually is slowing down. I mean, what was it today? Year on year, 1.2%, something like that. It's an odd thing that all the reserves the Fed has printed has not yet been converted into the money supply, hence causing inflation. But I think they're going to hang in there. That's why I think they're going to keep buying bonds and keep hoping that somehow the inflation rate goes up. I think that's the policy. I don't care what the FOMC statement said today. They want a 3% or higher inflation rate.
That's right. It's something that certainly would make Chicago Fed President Charlie Evans very happy because he's advocated that. But the Fed is like a rabid dog chasing its tail. If it lets the market know it wants to taper, then rates go up, and then, lo and behold, financial conditions grow tighter. And they mentioned that in September. But then as the market, reacted to them not tapering, financial conditions eased. And in this statement, they get rid of that statement about financial conditions tightening. It's a bad cycle that the Fed's in. They're going to get trapped in this. I don't see really a clear way out. They have to keep their balance sheet. They won't ever sell it. I'm not sure what they can do at this point.
They have no way out. They have no game. They have no exit strategy. They have no game plan. It's just as bad as the budget and tax committees in Congress. They have no exit strategy and no way out. But I was going to say this. Look, I call her Janet Yellen. With all respect, she's very smart, okay? She is the Empress of Doves, okay? That's what she is. And inflationism is the new goal at the Fed.
First of all, we have nothing on which we should base calling her the Queen of Doves.
No, Empress.
We have nothing to base it on.
Why? Her whole record is like that.
But that said, let's step away from Paul Krugman for a second and bring up Ken Rogoff.
Right, who won 6%.
Who won 6% inflation.
Now, don't those voices mean something to you when you hear those quoted in a New York Times story?
These are, forget the New York Times story. Ken Rogoff has been saying this since day one. And I give him all the credit. He's someone I share a lot of views with. I should be associated with him. It would be great for me. But that said, there is something to be said in the literature for a burst of inflation or a moderately higher level of inflation than we've been experiencing. And inherent in this entire discussion, or underlying this entire discussion, is exactly what you brought up, which is that the CPI on a year-over-year basis is running less than the Fed's target.
Right.
So we can scream all we want about what the Fed's doing and it's printing and it's printing and it's printing based on the way that the government measures inflation, which, of course, is an important caveat. You're not getting it.
This story bothers me. It doesn't even have the patina of any control, let's say, over the value of the dollar, what I call king dollar.
That's the Treasury.
It doesn't have any. The Fed is the main. Yes, it is the Treasury, but the Fed is an important driver. And anyway, since when does higher inflation promote better economic growth? Since when does higher inflation help the economy?
It doesn't. It retards it. I mean, this is a ruse. They don't want more inflation to help the economy. It's not going to help the economy. What they want to do is sustain asset bubbles. They want to sustain government spending. They want to keep on monetizing debt. They're looking for an excuse why they're not going to taper QE because they can't.
You think the Federal Reserve wants to create asset bubbles?
But that's all they've got. That's this whole phony economy is all they've got. They can't take away the punch bowl without bringing the party to an end. So they're going to keep on spiking it and making up excuses. But they're never going to tell the truth that they've got us addicted to this cheap money and that they can't take it away. The economy is actually in worse shape today than when the Fed first started